Hi, I'm Kat Fowler,
And I'm Amy Sikarskie.
and welcome to our fourth episode of Conversations with the Council of Light. So, I'm the host of the Soul Awakening podcast. I'm an energy healer and a breeder, and I'm interviewing Amy, who is a intuitive channel and the co-founder of Spirit School, an author of the Starseed Ascension series with the books Messages from the Councils and Activating the Starseed. So before we get started, just make sure to subscribe to this channel, and when you turn on notifications, you'll be notified of when each new episode releases.
Yes, and leave a thumbs up if you enjoy our conversations. And also, if you have any comments or questions, just share below. We do check those, and we will be gathering questions for a future conversation with the Council of Light from our friends here on YouTube.
So thank you guys for tuning in. And so this week's episode, we're going to continue with the dimensions as usual. So we're going to be working on the sixth dimension. But beforehand, I wanted to ask the council a whole bunch of personal questions that came flying through one night. So hopefully they're into that, and we'll start with that whenever they tune in. How do you think that'll go for them?
I think it's great. Yeah, I think to ask questions that just come to us are also divinely inspired and really wonderful. And on the past ones, we received some feedback that especially the question around family units was really beneficial. So yes, I think they're up for it, and I feel like I am as well. So I'm excited to hear your questions and listen as you guys have your conversation.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm ready, and I'm looking forward to it. And I also saw a few of the comments. So thank you guys for all of your amazing comments on the series so far. And I'm going to try to incorporate some of the questions you guys have in this episode. So we'll see. It's just a time thing. So we'll see if we can get into it with this episode or next. But yeah, looking forward to it.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Well, I'm feeling great, so I'll just connect in and then we'll have the conversation. So, one moment. Yes, we are here, and it is a joyful opportunity for us to be here with you today. Greetings, dear friends. Greetings, Kat. How are you this morning?
Greetings. I'm good. Both of us were having a little bit of technical difficulties with the interview, but outside of that, I think we are good. Thank you. So I'm excited to chat with you guys because the other day I don't remember what show I was watching, but it started to inspire all of these thoughts about just knowing more about who you are. And if that's okay, just the first few questions will be personal.
Very well. Yes, indeed.
Okay, so this is, I think, going off the second episode that we had when we were discussing where you live and the craft and if it's physical and all those things. And so I was wondering, why in particular would you guys choose to live in a craft as opposed to on a planet or on a star or something like that?
Indeed. Well, the craft gives us the opportunity to travel and to hover and to be in a containment or in a contained energy while we are viewing and working with mankind here on the shores of Gaia. We do incarnate from time to time on stars or on planetary bodies and these sort of realms or expressions of truth. However, in this moment in your time, we are here hovering in a craft, as it were. You would understand it to be a craft. It is a containment of energy in a frequency of light that does have structure, and it provides for us a sense of safety and security while maintaining a boundary and observing those whom are our family here on the earth planes.
Okay, and when ETs are from a star system like the Pleiades or Orion or Sirius, does this mean that they're actually etherically from the star and they live in the star or around it, or does that mean that they reside on planets surrounding the star, or both?
And are you speaking of those ETs whom are not in a physical body at this time?
Yes.
Yes, indeed. Well, most likely and in most opportunities, they do incarnate into the realm on that star or that planetary body. And from time to time, they will lift and travel outside of that unit, that frequency, and be more surrounding it, you see. But it is very much often like Earth expressions and experiences with the human form. There are lives, as you would call it, in these systems, on these stars and on these planets. And so it is after that a life has completed, for the most part, that the intergalactic travels are afforded to the being. As you understand, many of you have astral traveled. However, it is for a shorter period of time, you see. Most of your realities and perceptions are from the space in which you reside while in the physical body, and this is the case for those on the other planetary systems. However, time may be different, structures may be different, knowledge and awareness of the life after that expression may be different for those beings than it is for those whom are here upon Gaia's lands. But as you are aware, there are many whom are here on Gaia's lands in human form that have different awarenesses and realities, education, and knowing of life eternal and the life expressions outside of the physical body. Thus, it is very similar or the same in most instances for those beings who are incarnated on another planetary system or in another star space reality.
So would it be similar to like beings that live in the sun? Would that be similar to beings that live in Sirius or on Sirius, the star?
Well, the physical or energetic makeup is different, you see. It is a different set of properties, as you would understand. But yes, it's very similar that there are beings or spirits who may incorporate or find a space within the cosmos to call their home.
And I've heard of beings also living in like nebulas. Is that, can you speak more on that, or if that's true, or if you've heard of that?
Yes, it is true. There is much movement in nebulas, so it is more of a flow and a flowing movement with direction and purpose. It is not as grounded as you might understand that term to relay. So there is a possibility, and it does happen from time to time, but it is mostly during transitionary periods of floating and being for a moment, or traveling to a new expression of reality.
Okay. And then I was wondering, I know that you're technically Amy's spirit guides. So, in the first place, I wanted to know what made you decide to become spirit guides.
Oh, we are her family, and when she decided to come to Earth, it was instantaneous knowing or an agreement or understanding that she would be supported. And so there are beingness here, many of her family and partnerships or communities of the stars who had the opportunity and joined together to watch and guide and be with her and sit with her through her many awakenings and to be with her for this opportunity. And through her choice and desire, her conscious intentions while in human form, and expressing the, we'll call it a desire to step forward and assist mankind in such a way, there were more beings whom came into the council whom are here for mankind. So it is a collection of, we are her guides whom are speaking. However, there are many beings here. There are many levels of awareness and truth and wisdom. There are many facets and frequencies of light who are bringing and imparting their knowledge and their messages, as we are all humming and vibrating in a beautiful frequency, a song. We are unified, and the messages which we share with you in these capacities on this platform are for all, and they are from a broad collective which we are terming the Council of Light.
And with star seeds and star beings on the planet that are incarnate now, are most of their teams also their families in light and in spirit, or can that be different?
It can be different, but for the most part, yes, indeed. And they will have angelic frequencies, angelic beings who may flow in and out because all on earth are afforded the opportunity to have an angel being be with them. It is a part of the earth life property. And she has had angel beings with her from time to time. It is just that now she is more in communication and connection with us whom are here as Council of Light in the astral realms, around Mother Earth, around your Gaia, and but she is aware, and as you understand, she also works very closely with the Archangel realm. So the angelic frequencies are ones who have a great desire and concern and interest as well with Mother Earth and humanity. So those other star beings may have one or the other or both, but most appropriately, we do see that star family around them and the weaving and ebbing and flowing of communications between the star family and other angelic frequencies who may be termed spirit guides. And there are beings whom are spirit guides who have had expressions of truth and incarnated on the physical plane, whom are not at the level of a higher angelic frequency, but they are here with wisdom and knowledge, and they may be in training. So it is not a one size fits all, and there are no boxes. There are opportunities for all that would be the most appropriate for that particular being and their particular situations.
Okay. And as spirit guides and as a council residing in a much higher dimensional frequency, do you guys ever take breaks or sleep? You know, like we sleep, the physical body needs rest. You don't have physical bodies in that sense. But do you ever take breaks, or are you always on? Is the consciousness always aware?
Very good questioning. We are always on, as it were. However, from time to time, we step away and pull back a little of our connection. If we are feeling that she needs us, we come in much more quickly and with more intensity. But there are moments where we say, all is well. And as a parent knows where the child is playing or being in the home or in the yard, all is well, and they will take their attention to another space. But when their child needs them, they will be there, and it is similar in our connection and conversations. When we are called in, we will be there, you see. But as we have shared in messages from the councils, there are expressions and moments of time where star beings, and this would include us, you see, whom will take a stasis or a momentary rest and experience. And this is very healing and very calming. And this is where we go into a space, and most likely for many, it will be an containment, a space of resonating frequencies, which brings about relaxation or a deep stasis of, as you would understand it, the mind and body spirit connection, although our systems, our structures are not that of the human. It is all encompassing with our mental capacities and our emotional frequencies, where we will, as you would term it, rest or slumber for a period of time. And this is one where it does not happen as a frequently. You would say after our job is done, after our partner comes back and we have a review, then one or many of our consciousness here, the beings whom are around and with her, may take an opportunity to go into a space of stasis as well. Does this make a sense?
Yes, it's bringing up more questions. So, two questions regarding this. First off, what is the time discrepancy within your realm versus Earth versus our time? So, like one day is 24 hours for us, one year is 365 days. What is time like for you compared like to time on Earth?
We are enjoying this question. So when we are here around Earth, it is very similar. We have the ability to speed and slow time. We can go into the future, as it were, as you would understand, or pause and slide back on the timeline and come back into the now moment to access information and create shifts in to coordinate coming togethers and interactions in the future with our partner and beings who would be in alignment and in resonated frequency with her personal life path and also that of the mission which she is upon, you see. But as star beings travel outside of your planetary system and the bodies of your galaxy, time does become different, and it is a completely different structure. If you were to see them side by side, you may say that it would be at 1.5 days would be one Earth day, and this would be for those whom are incarnated on another planetary body in a physical body. But as you expand up or you are in a higher frequency, everything speeds and goes faster, you see. And the higher you get or the higher you become and you are being there, you are able to see multiple timeline realities and go into the expression of your choice where time slows down. And from that space you could pick. You could go back in time to 1,000 years prior, as it were, or 500 years later. So all is in the now moment when you are in these higher spaces of reality.
Okay, and then so the second part of my question is regarding essentially ascension for you. And so after your stasis or your time, once the mission is done and you're done assisting, do you also, as a collective or individually as souls, do you work towards your own ascension where you're trying to move up in dimensional frequency or eventually trying to merge towards source? And I guess also what I'm asking is like, do you have a sort of death that occurs similar to the physical realm in the higher frequencies, or is it not like that?
Wow, again. We are very amused by these topics, but do love the intricacies and the depth of which you share your wonderments with us, you see. So, where shall we begin? We do not die because we are not in a physical body. As a collective, when our time is right, we will ascend to a higher vibration very naturally with ease and grace. There is not an emphasis placed upon it as there is with those who are on earth right now. Because for those who are on earth right now, it is your task and your mission and your desire to advance to the next space of evolution as you are helping this planetary system and all expressions of life within and within this realm, you see. So that is the focal aspect and point of this life. However, for us, our mission is to support, to bless, and to be there with you and to assist in such a way to bring about a light and encoded frequencies and memories and remembering your truth and light and who you are. So we do not have a strong pushing or intentional desire where we are fighting and working so hard to advance in our frequencies. We are very content in where we are right now because we are in the right and appropriate space and station for our intention at hand, you see. However, once we are completed with our mission, and as we have shared, in about 1,000 years time in your reality, Earth will expand into a next level fully of consciousness, and then if it were, we may find to back away from the interactions as they are now in your moment, and from that space there will be an opportunity as we travel and release into the cosmos where we may catch, as it sounds or looks, catch a ray of light that will pop us or propel, we travel on that ray of light into a higher frequency band. So there are opportunities for those in our community who would like to ascend to do so. However, collectively, we are speaking collectively because there may be one or two beings who decide to go on their own way, but collectively we are here and we are around Earth and we are blessing and protecting those on your shores at this time.
Okay. Would the goal of ascension for you or for all beings, I guess, be to merge with source. And my reason for asking this is because on the earth plane, and I've had many experiences with beings like this, they're called Mahatmas, and they have reached what you would say is enlightenment, which is emerging. I don't know if it's with their soul frequency in the 12th dimension or with God, where they're here physically, but they have reached the highest peak of consciousness. And so I'm wondering what's the case that's happening, what's happening in those cases, and with you and also with all beings is really the true goal, just to merge with God again.
Ah, very well. They are reaching the highest form of consciousness that is allowed and afforded to those whom are in the physical structure of their reality and their now moment, the physical properties of the human form. But you see, as the star beings and mankind incarnate and the physical body of the human form continue to ascend, they will hold more light. So if you were to go 500 years into the future, those whom have reached that level of enlightenment, and they will have attained a higher level of frequency. So they have not reached the full capacity of merging with the Godhead. However, they have reached the full capacity of enlightenment for one whom is or has care over a human form, you see. So if they were, on a very rare occasion, to leave the physical body for a moment, or we are saying quite some time, although it will feel like a moment because you go through so quickly as you expand higher. But there is an opportunity for them to reach that space. However, as they come back down and within, many of the memories will be lost and the light will lighten, release. So they will not be able to carry all of that back into the physical form. The physical body cannot contain or hold that frequency. So there is that aspect. And for those who are not in a body, for those races and beings who are in different interdimensionary frequencies and realms, yes, if they choose to desire to, they may reach that level of enlightenment where they will be absorbed back into the light of consciousness, and they may then be released again to go back and experience. But in these other spaces, it can be more enjoyable. There is less contrast, and there is less heavy and density, and there is less slowing down of time. So many are aware of the Godhead and the source of the grand central sun and the cosmic frequencies of all of the sparks of life, which we are showing our partner, our suns, as it were. Great, beautiful, it would appear as an orb or a huge sun ball of light. So all of these are aware, but they may choose or they may not to be absorbed back into those frequencies. Because when you are in those frequencies, it is bliss, but that is all that it is. And there is not as much excitement from our perspective. There is not as much life or movement. And so as you separate and you release into more of your identity, there is a more coming together with community in the aspect of commingling variations of thoughts and intentions and expressions of light and the vibrational patterns. And we are all very much connected in that we enjoy the community and we enjoy the aspect of autonomy or a sovereignty in our own right. And when you go higher into the frequencies of the Godhead, all becomes more one. You are there as your own being of consciousness, but you are just humming in the light. So it is very much up to a personal, if you would call it personal, an individual choice and desire and expression of where they choose to be with their consciousness. And outside of the physical body, and the higher you get in spiritual form, you are able to travel more quickly when you are not incarnated in a structure, but you are solely spirit. You are able to travel more quickly, and with your intention, you may be there at a new space and time, you see.
So this is very interesting to me because I do find with friends and with people and clients that I've worked with, there's a major difference in frequency between like what we would call an earth angel incarnate versus star being or a star seed. And so I'm wondering, because we were talking about realms, and the realms have their own different hierarchies, and it's like fairies, angels, archangels, seraphim, God, and then there's star beings, and I feel like they're separate. And so within the angelic realms, would you say that their goal is to ascend and merge continuously? Or do they also still have the choice and they choose to be where they are? Like that's why Archangel Metatron and Michael and all of them will remain who they are and they don't merge? Or do you think that just like star beings, they also, or I'm trying to say like the angelic realm, do they just try to move up and merge for star beings who kind of, they enjoy being in space and they enjoy their time?
We will bring in more of the frequency of Metatron to address this conversation.
Okay.
As it would be more appropriate. So, one moment.
Sure.
Hello. Yes, we have the opportunity to move forward and backwards in the dimensions of the angelic frequencies. However, many of us are very content in our space of resonation. We all act as conduits of light. We all act as emissaries from the Godhead, interlaying as a liaison, weaving light between mankind and the Godhead, you see. We may choose to expand our frequencies and go up, as it were, but that would be forcing, and we do not force, we flow. So over time, yes, we will lift in our awareness, we will lift up, and the archangels may be come one with the light of the principalities, but God is always creating. There will always be an archangel realm. There are always expressions of light who choose to stay in the angelic frequencies or expand out as a star being, or as you will call it, an earth angel, one who would come into reality. Whereas you understand, most archangels do not come into realities in such a way in a physical body. However, myself and the being whom you call Sandalphon, were Enoch and Elijah. We did have life as humans on your planetary system. So there is the opportunity for expansion, for increasing to the light. However, we do not push. It will happen in due time.
And may I ask, what is your relation with the star beings, the angelic realm and star beings? What is the relation between the two?
Yes, it is a very joyful experience. We are in communication with them, very intertwined. Telepathy is our way of communicating. You would understand it as telepathic, instantaneous awareness and knowings. We are partners. We have joined together. We are very much focused about Earth right now. We are very much directing, observing, and assisting all on Earth who would reach to us. Whereas there are many on Earth who would not reach to star beings, so they have their own unique properties. We see the star beings coming here to help us. You see, they are coming in and they are incarnating, because, as we just mentioned, it would be very challenging for an archangel to incarnate, although we do send sparks of our consciousness into the physical body, you see. So there are hybrids, if you will to call it this, hybrids of soul identities whom have had experiences on and off of Gaia's planes, and who have had experiences or are an aspect or a part of an angelic being, but also have had experiences in other solar systems and galaxies, other interplanetary bodies of truth and expression. So we are essentially all one. These are our vibrational stations, our spaces where we are serving and honoring the creation of all, the God, the love, the truth, and the oneness. And star beings have more fluidity. They have more, how shall we say, movement. There is more conscious awareness of who they are and where they choose to go. The earth angels and the angelic frequencies are more constant, more present, more ever stable around surrounding earth with the star beings at this time in your reality, may choose not to be associated with the planet of the earth. However, we are here. We are here observing earth, and we are here directing through thoughts, intentions, and holding frequency. We are here directing many who would hear us and work with us, and who are connected and observing the experience and the expressions of the cosmos, and connected here with the angelic beings. We are working with them through the adjustments which are happening now upon Gaia and within the structures of human systems.
Okay. Well, I did not expect you to be here, and I'm very excited and I'm very happy because I work with you every day. So I didn't expect to be talking to you like this. So I guess my last question for you is if there's anything that you have to share with the viewers watching, in particular from your point of view about what's going on, or just any advice or anything you can give to the people watching.
Yes, one moment, please, while we bring Metatron back in. Yes, thank you very much. Remember your light and who you are. When you know who you are, you may emit that frequency, you may hold that space. There is much sadness in the earth, and you will be there to maintain a space of peace, hope, light, and healing for those whom are being discovered, who have received much sorrow and containment, and much damage to their physical and energetic beingness. They will need to be made whole for the ascension of earth to move forward. The Archangel realm is with you. The angelic beings incarnate are very much aware of what we are speaking of, and the light will succeed, and the darkness will be flushed out, and the light will heal, you see. So we are here. Continue in your path. You are beautiful, expansive aspects of truth. You are eternal in your awakening. You are eternal in your being. You are eternal in nature, and this is a mission and a moment at hand. And we are saying, do not fear, for you are the light. And remember, breathe and reach into your beingness. Expand and feel the vibration of the love that is around you, the joy that Gaia is feeling, and the weeping of gratitude which she has for you and your mission here and your beingness here in your bodies, and from also your families in the stars and in the heavens, as it were. So thank you very much. We are preparing for Metatron to leave the physical body, and the council will resume. One moment, please.
Thank you.
Yes, we are here. We are back. Thank you for the opportunity for us to let him step through, you see. And as you understand and as you are observing, his frequency is very different and a little bit more intense for our partner, but he was able to come through and speak with you. So we are very blessed for that opportunity.
Thank you. That was really beautiful. So I don't know if we should describe what he's talking about, because me and you, we all know what's happening. But for those of you that don't, I think I'll just summarize it with there's a lot happening behind the scenes right now at this moment, on many different realms, and a lot's going to come to the surface soon. And there's a lot of people, I think, and maybe you can speak to this, that have dual missions at hand, where they're working on the physical plane as one, and then they're sleeping and they're doing other things as well. So maybe you can speak a little bit to all the starseeds that are living this almost like they have a dual mission right now.
Yes, we are feeling much emotion. This opportunity for you to be here is broader than you understand. By being in a physical body and in the earth realm, you are expansive. And in your sleep and meditations, you are assisting those who are trapped in the other frequencies, in the lower astral realms, and also in the hell, in the physical body. You are assisting them in their healing. You are bringing the freedom to those who have been enslaved. And many of you are aware, and many of you are not. And you are not because it would not be appropriate for your consciousness. You would not be able to maintain stability in the human, physical, awakened state and that role which you are playing. But many of you have become aware of what you are doing behind the scenes. And for this, we give gratitude and thanks. And we are saying that if you will not be recognized in the now moment, there will be a grand welcoming and a high level of respect and recognition when your life is through and when you return to your stations in the skies, because you are here to free not only mankind, but many spirits who have been encapsulated and entrained and trapped in whichever way, shape, or form. But there are many here, so we are saying to trust. Where do we go back to? You must return to the trust and the love within your heart. If you are feeling weak or tired, rest. Because you are doing much behind the scenes, you see. You need to rest. If a sleepy stupor falls upon you, you must nap. Because your consciousness is leaving the physical body to work in another space, you see. And the physical beingness may only hold so much of the soul frequency. So from time to time, the aspects which are aware and awake and alert in the physical body must leave and the physical form must rest. This is not for all, but those who are hearing will be understanding, it will be confirmed, and they will feel validated, and they will know of our love and our appreciation. It is a grand mission. It's a grand mission, much more than any that you have understood up until this point, you see. But the time on the earth is appropriate. And in this now moment, the transition is experiencing. You are understanding it. It is flowing, and all will be made known to those whom are aware, or to whom it should be made known. All will be made known from our space momentarily, but from yours in short and due time, you see. So thank you very much for bringing forward this awareness for those who needed to hear our messages. And we are ready to move to the next topic.
Thank you. Yeah, that I didn't plan any of that, but it needed to come forward, I guess. So I guess regarding what just happened and somewhat in a new topic, my question is for you guys on a higher frequency, do you experience emotions in the same way? Because when you're channeling through, you experience the human physical emotions, but I'm wondering if you have your own, because it's not as much contrast in those higher dimensional frequencies.
We have emotion and awareness, but you are accurate in that it is not as much of a contrast. That is also why some star beings find a challenge with emotions, because they are not used to the intensities of emotions of the human form, you see. So we were regulating our partner's field and body very very closely during that transmission, because there was so much emotion. We have an awareness, we have an emotion, we have compassion, we have love, we have joy. But the heartbreak, we do not see so much, you see. When we feel the heartbreak, it is through compassion for another. There is not much a heartbreak in our space, but we are, as her team, where we are from, there is not much a heartbreak. But, as you go into and through the incarnation cycles and you drop your frequency into a lower density band, there is more contrast, and then there is where the heartbreak will be experienced. But this is why it is very important, and we are showing and we are seeing the angelic kingdom and the archangel realm, because they have an awareness always of the heartache and the emotions and the aspects of human consciousness, more so than star beings who are not in a physical body.
Oh, that's really interesting to me, is because from my understanding, most archangel, they haven't incarnated on Earth only a few have incarnated on Earth. But so how do they, or why do they have more of an understanding of emotion then?
The understanding is an awareness, not so much that they are feeling it, but they are aware, because it is like they have their hand on the pulsation of Earth and they are feeling all of the emotions and vibrations and the understandings of mankind, because they are guardians, protectors always of Earth, where we are coming and going. And we are here now to assist, but it is not our full mission. It is not our purpose to always protect Earth and to always protect humanity. The archangels are assisting in that. Now, we are very much called to be here, and we are very interested, and we have much hope and trust for the success. However, we often leave to experience life in other forms and in other planetary systems. The archangels are present here around Earth at this moment in time, and there will always be an archangel present dedicated solely to this frequency of the Earth experience.
Okay. And the seraphim, they're not as tied to Earth. So are they more galactic or are they just closer to the Godhead?
Correct, they are more galactic and closer to the Godhead, so they are seeing more of the full picture, as it were.
Okay. And then a question that I had also that just came to my head in the past was outside of telepathic communication, which is primarily, I think, how you guys communicate with one another. Do you ever speak language? And does it sound like similar to the light language that we'll hear here that's channeled through different people?
Similarly, yes, that is frequency, but it can go in the thought waves versus on the vocal waves. So yes, but when one would be in a physical body, then they may be able to have the opportunity to produce the frequencies into a physical sound, the speech that comes through from this form. And it is very joyful for us to work with physical bodies, and we are saying us and others like us who are working with their partners to do similar light language transmissions. And so for any who have actively channeled, they understand that the beginning is a bit kitty wampus, a little wonky, and a little challenging to begin merging and letting our capacities work with the vocal cords. You see, you experienced a tiny bit of that when Metatron came through, because the frequencies are different, and it does take practice and partnerships to let another being come in, for the human to let another being come into their system. So if you are feeling called to share the light language, and if it sounds a bit construed, a little silly to begin, continue with until you are feeling a flow, because it is a great opportunity for your teams to work with you and to share a vibration with others. And with most light language transmissions, there is light encoded in the vocalization that lifts the listener to a next space of frequency, lifts them up, and helps to clear and release any funk or any challenges, any energy that would be around or within their energetic bodies, you see.
And can you just speak to this, because I think this is important about discernment, because even though there may be light language, it maybe is not always positive.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yes. Whom are you channeling? This is very important to be aware of. Whom are you channeling? And our partner speaks of this many times, and she has shared with through many video tapings, you see, many video recordings. We are accessing her vocabulary. Is very funny because we understand that is antiquated. So video recordings she has shared with many. It is very important to understand whom you are speaking with, and that is why in her beginnings she worked with the Archangel realm to feel that frequency, to lift her frequency to match, to hold the light around and create a sacred space, and then began calling in her guides to be vetted by the Archangel realms, because for many there could be an opportunity where a random spirit, we will say, could flow in and say, I am your guide, well, how fun will this be? And go upon their merry way. And they do not have the same level of awareness or intentions as a true guide would, and as a true Archangel would. And yes, there are many pretending, as we will say, or using the names of the archangels to come through. So, how do you understand whom and what you are working with? First, you must detox your physical system, your energetic system, your mind, your emotions, so that you can lift your vibration to work with the archangel realms. We are not saying that, how shall we present? So, we would advise for a deep level of healing in all areas of life prior to channeling a disincarnate being through your system. As you see, our partner has worked for many, many years in the space of healing and has worked with her team energetically through traditional readings, energy sessions, automatic writing, and other forms of bringing through the vibration prior to allowing a being to speak through her vocally. This was over a decade before she began channeling in such a way you see. So we are saying that it is very important for discernment and discretion of whom you are communicating with and whom you are letting communicate through you, and how will you understand. Additionally, after healing, it will be made very known to you. You will have a reaction within your system, a closing down, a frustration, an irritation, or an aggression when you are being presented with this truth. So your system will shrink when this truth is speaking to you, and it will expand with light, with love, when there is a true being around. So the caveat here is that if you are in the presence of a pure channel or a pure archangel coming into your awareness, there may still be some disruptions within your system as that new frequency is flushing out and helping you release and clear. And that can be uncomfortable. However, it is different. It is not the same as being spoken to or receiving a message from one who is not of the fullest light encoded frequency, or whom is not whom they really are expressing themselves to be. And yes, it is true that many channels can bring in an aspect and a consciousness of an ascended master, their team in spirit, or an archangel. However, we just are experiencing this, and we are expressing to you to use your discernment and your discretion in what feels in alignment with your soul frequency and your path moving forward. And we understand for some, we may not be the best match in frequency, the council, for whatever reason it may be. Perhaps it is a personal taste, you see. However, we are just sharing this information so that then those who are looking for guidance or assistance in any form, in any modality, or through any platform, we are sharing with them that they must trust their inner instincts first. And to really connect with their inner instincts, they must clear the programming, release the trauma, and be made whole again. Does this make a sense to you, dear one?
Yes. I just wanted that to be clarified for listeners because I think there's so much out there online, and you have to be really careful with what you listen to, because it can affect you. So thank you for explaining that. So I wanted to ask, these are two more questions regarding just your life. Do you guys laugh? Do you guys tell jokes and laugh, like amongst each other?
Yes, indeed. But this is more, well, this is not very reverent, but we laugh more at scenes that we are watching. So as we are observing the humans and we find some activities to be very enjoyable and entertaining, we laugh. We find humor, we find a lightness in it, and we enjoy it. But also we tell jokes in a different way, perhaps. It is more bringing an awareness to something enjoyable or funny or entertaining. But we have the capacity to. There is just so much other opportunities. So yes, we laugh, we have joy, we have these emotions as you understand them to be.
Okay, and then this is really interesting and I think funny. So obviously, soulmates are soulmates; they're mates on a soul level. So do you guys have that? Because I know the archangels have that. And on Earth we do dating, which is terrible, but until you find your soulmate. So do you guys go through that process, or do you just know that that's your partner, or do you not have partners?
We have favorite friends, but we are all family. We are all community.
Okay.
We do not have the sexual nature as mankind, so the need for such declarations is not necessary. We have favorite friends, and we like to make new friends, as it were, and have new experiences. But we have soul families because we have been through so much together, you see, and that is how it works. And we have a united camaraderie where there is much unity in our system.
So what do you guys perceive human love to be between two people? Like, what would that compare to, or do you have any experiences like that? Or is that just a small fraction of really what love really is, which is what I think is the answer?
It is a different, in a sort of way, for both experiences. The humans have more chemicals, biochemical hormones, pheromones, and this to bring them together, you see. But we are saying, and that is why sometimes it is mistaken for love when truly it is not, you understand. But in our space, there is love for all, and if we feel a kinship or a closeness, it is our choice and desire. But if we would like to, we merge energetically. And it is a space of comfort and peace and upholding a frequency and resting and just emerging with another. And that it can be possible indeed. So it is a little bit different, but there is a similar vibration that you would experience as love.
Okay. Um, so I guess now we have 10 minutes. So can you speak on the sixth dimension and what that's like and its relation to sacred geometry and what that feels like and what the experience of being in a sixth dimensional field is like?
Oh, yes. The sacred geometry here is very sound. It is complete and it is. It holds the frequency. Here, there is an advancement in the structure of the body for those who would come in. They are more light, but they are not bound by gravity. They can float or fly, if it were. They can move more with consciousness than in other dimensions lower. And there is still community and connection and more of a freedom and an expression of lightheartedness. But here, there is also care and attending to. We are going to speak about the sixth dimension on Earth. So, the sixth dimension on Earth, there is still an understanding and a care for the plants and for the animals, but mostly for the plants, for Gaia. And so they might work to heal the energy around Gaia and also to rest and just to enjoy the beings who are living in the sixth dimension that you might understand to look like the humans you see. So the humans species, similar, like a cousin maybe perhaps, but similar. And so it is very joyful, and there is a lot of lightness, and there is a lot of flowing, and there is a lot of love, but it is not the sort of love which we were just speaking of, where we love one individual. It is a vibration, a humming through the frequency of love in every moment of expression. It is around all. It is a very soft, and it is very buoyant. It holds and supports. So, does this make sense? Are there other questions in particular that you may have?
Yeah, so there's two questions about the sixth dimension, and the first one is relating to your answer. Are you speaking of inner earth beings? And we had a question on a comment about just describing what inner earth is, because some of us know about it and a lot of us do not. And so I think this can be very enlightening. If you can describe the physical space of inner earth and the etheric realms of inner earth and their relation to the sixth dimension as well.
Yeah, we were just speaking of life. One moment, please.
Mm-hmm.
We will try and separate the two. We were just speaking of life around the earth in the sixth dimension. Let us drop into the inner earth experience. The crystal caverns is where we are going. This is more of a seventh dimensional frequency here in the crystal caverns. And in this space, we speak more quickly. We are trying to slow our frequency for this physical body. This is a space where we work with the information, codes, and crystals to support the structure and the foundational flow of the grid system of Mother Earth. Here you find many whom are observing from your space, you would say, will look like little gnomes or fairies. There are some who may look like smaller human bodies, like a dwarf perhaps, in that height. So there are beings here. We have food, we have water, we have a light source from the crystals that would be similar to your sun. We all need to have a light source. And there are different frequencies here. This realm is really enjoyable. Many come here because it is we are showing the channel a vision of a cartoon from her childhood with the elves in Santa's workshop. We feel like this is very comparable. People or spirits, beings, we shall say, you are beings, would like to incarnate here, spirits, because there is a lot of busy activity, but it is fun. It is lighthearted. There is a lot to be done, and there is a common understanding. There is a common cause for all working together to support the structure of Gaia, to program and work with the elements and the beingness of the beings whom are here. We have direct communication to those up on land, on the surface of Earth, through the trees, through the root systems of the plants. However, the trees, they are most important indeed, especially your grand trees with multiple expressions of roots, like the banyan trees, the trees of life, whom are very large with interconnected systems. Their vibrations, their energy expands to us outside of the physical root. So it is more like an emanation of their consciousness, of the light that drops down, and we are able to communicate through that light frequency to understand and send messages to the surface. We get information from the plants, from the animals, and from the fairy realm, which is sitting more in your space physically. But yes, so inner earth beings, we are here from the crystal cavern of the seventh dimension, and we are a higher light frequency in our physical structure or form. So this allows us the opportunity to be present in this reality, in the, how shall we say, in the physical makeup of Earth. We are like spirit, as you would understand. However, from our awareness, we are much more than spirit.
Can I ask you two questions? So for us on Earth right now, we're in a quarantine. So a lot of people can't go into nature to connect with trees and in those realms at the moment. So what is some advice that you can give to the people watching to connect with nature, to connect with Gaia from their homes if they can't access nature at the moment?
Yes, thank you for this question. Go within your heart. There is communication available through the heart center. Go within, and then with your memories, call to us. With your intentions, reach to us. With your visualizations, flow down, reach to the heart of Earth. As you are here, if you are in a physical structure, not able to be on the land, you may access us through crystals. There is a portal and a gateway through all crystals. They are our children. We are connected as family. They speak to us and they will bring your messages through, and we may speak to you through the crystal frequencies and technologies.
This is personal, but I feel like I've worked with you before, and to me, you look like a quartz crystal, like your body is crystalline. Is this accurate?
One moment, let us check our records. One moment. Yes, we are seeing, yes, you are very little here. Yes, your physical structure was short, small. You were here. Yes, your spirit has been here before. And you worked in a crystal garden where there were many quartz crystals, spikes, towers, wands, as it were, for you. We call them temples, little crystal temples around, and you were watching and speaking and letting them grow and breathe and caring for them. It was very beautiful. Very beautiful indeed.
Thank you. Thank you. And so my second question originally is if you can please speak for the animals and the animal realm for this moment, for people watching, and what is the best way and what we can do for them and what will help our ascension for them, because they don't really have a voice. And I feel like it's very important to speak about what's going on with the animals here and what's the best route for us in a compassionate, loving way to work with animals.
Yes, thank you very much. We are releasing from the crystal realm and connecting in with the consciousness of the animals. The eagle is screeching. The eagle screams for freedom. There is fear and sorrow from time to time. There is fear and sorrow for many of the animals, whereas there is also lightness and joyness and happiness for others. But you see, the animals take on the consciousness of the human that is around their vicinity. And if the human is functioning in a lower frequency, it creates a barrier or a buffer. If the conditions are not in love, it will be very hard for the animal to remember who they are and life eternal and their purpose and reason for being here. If the frequencies are in love, they will understand why they are here. So this is a very robust topic, a very contrasting conversation. There are many aspects and avenues and interests. And so we will say that it is a basis of the reality of the physical care and the spiritual keep of that animal. Some communities honor their animals, although they use their flesh and their byproducts. And this is a sacred, natural flow of life. The animal remembers why they are here. They are doing this in service. This is how it was in times past. However, your systems on earth now have forgotten the soul of the animal, the sacredness of the animal, the special connection between and the gifts which they bring. And this is where we see blasphemy on the earth when it comes to raping the animals and pillaging and killing the animals. This is done in great terror and great fear, and we stress that this must cease for the advancement of all on earth. All must go back to a space of care and love and oneness. And there are many who will find new opportunities and new avenues to support their physical structure, their energetic autonomy through other sources, through ingesting other aspects of creation, meaning minerals and plants and light, perhaps, the water, perhaps, you see. So as you move forward, it will become where this is not needed. But until that time, for the physical communities and bodies and structures who are adapted, we will call it adapted to consuming the animal byproducts, they need to make a shift and a change to honor, to pray over, to care for, and to limit this to limit this, we are calling it habit, perhaps we may say, but to limit this nature, so of their beingness. So you are in a space of separation where the earth is separating from a lower frequency, from a paradigm in times of the past. You see, you are in a space of ascension and transition, and it can be challenging for many, but the awareness is being heard and it is being called through. So we say be patient and continue, all whom are here in your light, continue on your path, and take into consideration if you need to make adjustments, take into consideration that which we have shared with you, because just as the humankind's vibrations of fear and terror can be stored around Gaia, the animals are as well. And this is where we are asking for the light workers to bless and heal the lands. And as a part of that, it is to release that from the animal kingdom. All are connected and are a part of one and the all experience here on the earth plane. Does this make a sense?
Yes, I've heard from someone that animals, because I would do that, and I've heard that you don't need to do that because the animals don't have a hard passage. They cross over very easily, essentially. Not saying that we shouldn't be eating them or mistreating them or abusing them, but they were saying, that's not necessarily necessary for certain areas. So I wondered if you can clear that up. And also just talk a little bit more about the transmission of frequency when you eat something, in the same way as when you listen to something or when you watch. Yeah.
Indeed. Yes, and you have very much almost answered your question, you see, because the frequency remains on the earth. So, as a thought form or a projection of terror and fear in the etheric body of earth, in the emotional state of consciousness. So that is what's happening. The animal's soul may cross over. However, we will stress that if it was very terrified, it will not cross over in ease. So it will cross over and it will be made whole. However, they have left an imprint, a vibration, a frequency that is like a record playing over and over again until it is cleared and imprint in the space, in the consciousness on earth, that is adding to the terror imprint and the fear imprint, and an unjust and a very sorrowful experience in this imprint as well. So having shared this aspect, moving forward, when one ingests the flesh of another being whom was in fear, they are ingesting the fear into their system. This is why many of your communities have stressed over the centuries the importance of blessing and sanctifying food to release, to transmute out and to clear and to heal any remaining or remnants of the vibration that is lower in reality. Because some communities was a very part of their advancement and their civilization to participate in the ingestion of animal products, you see, and this is how it was designed. So it was not to be worked around, especially in the past. Now, there were other communities that had resources in their physical location that provided for them the nutrients and the sustenance through a vegetarianism or veganism, you see. But it was not the same for all, and all body types are a bit different, and they are working through the adjustments through generation to generation to generation, in which they can release the need and necessity of ingesting the animal products. But you are not there yet. All are not there yet. That is why we say those whom are continue, and those who find necessary to please source your resources in a humane way, as it were. When it is done in a humane way, the animal remembers. They remember the afterlife. It is like a blinking and sleeping and awake in a beautiful space. It is calm and beautiful. It is done as a gift. When they do not remember, it is terrifying. And this shall not be the case moving forward, you see. So does this make a sense and answer your question?
Yes. I'm just going to ask, are there really humane ways to do that now in these days, especially commercially?
Not commercially. It is not happening commercially, indeed.
Just wanted to clarify that. And can you speak about the water? And so, for people living in cities and in houses and in suburban areas, they're getting their water. It's not from a river or lake, it's from a pipe, filtered, and there's lots of things in the water. So, what's the best option for people that are looking to raise their vibration? How can they work with their water source as a way to nurture themselves?
Well, we will speak of many avenues, and it will be very much individualized based upon what is available for that particular being. But a filtration system, an in-home filtration system, would be beneficial. If not, then boiling the water would be beneficial. And there are different forms of filtration systems you see that are more advanced too, similarly basic. But also blessing the frequencies, blessing the water. And as you bless the water and then let it sit in the sunlight for a period of time, it will give it the time needed to become more purified. And as you bless the water, not only does it become purified, but the energetic frequencies in the water are cleared away, and the new frequencies of the blessing begin to take form or begin to live and vibrate with water, or the water begins to live and vibrate with the frequency, we shall say. The water takes on the quality of the frequency. So you can get some big containers, we are saying 1 or 2 gallons, the type that you sit on the counter even and turn the spigot. You can get these containers and you can bless the water and prepare the water and have it sitting for a time later on, a day or two later perhaps. These are opportunities for those who are in a space where they do not have running water and they must drink from dirty sources. We advise against this because it could create dis-ease with amoebas, with the bacteria in the water. So we are saying to cleanse the water. But in your civilization where you are, dear friend, the water is treated. However, then you are needing to clean out bacteria and some viruses and some medical waste. We are saying medical waste. What do you call medication? Medication in the water? Yes, the medical waste and the medication in the water, and also the consciousness of the water. Where has it been sitting? Where did it come from? Is it being received with gratitude, or is it being chugged down with no thought given to what you are ingesting, you see? So it is all about the physical properties and the energetic properties and the connection and the intention with the water. And you will understand that the more you work with the water and respect the water by keeping it clean, this is a form of respect. The more you do that, the more that it will flow into your cells in a partnership, with ease and with a way that is healthy and productive for the physical being and the energetic flow within the body, you see. So does this make a sense?
Yes, I was wondering if you can speak just to how come water is the record keeper. How does water retain memories? And also the relationship between like the quartz crystal and its it's like an in-between state and water.
Well, water is ever present. Most of all life has an aspect of element of water in it. If this body did not have water in it, it would turn to powder and disappear, you see. So water is everywhere, and water absorbs the energetic state of its space, and it can bring that awareness and consciousness when it passes through either a stream or a body or from a cloud. And as the water comes back into the earth, it shares or it releases, or it's just beingness. the consciousness of the water, the state of vibration, begins to program the land. So, and also all of Earth will begin to feel, all of that space of the Earth will begin to feel this vibration. So water is a beautiful gift and a beautiful tool for many reasons. But when you consider the programming, we are saying it can be used as a healing property and tool when blessed and released back into the elements. It can begin clearing and healing the land, you see. The crystals, the frequency of the crystals is very quick. But as you understand, all structure is not constant. All cells and the atoms are always moving, but they have slowed down. So by constant, we mean they are not stuck in one pose.
Solid, yeah.
Yeah, solid, you see. So it flows as well, and it accesses information and it will absorb, but it is more giving back as well, and it is more, we are saying, the power from the mind with electricity. So there is a lot of spark of electricity through mental, and water to us feels more emotional and more flowing and speaking. So they work together and similar, but not the same. Both can be programmed and both can share information, and both can be absorbing light and codes and frequencies, which is the information. So they have their own special properties and their own unique way of working, but they are similar in nature. And there are specific tasks which can be delegated to each. So the water helps the physical body, it helps with the bathing, it helps with the nourishment of the plants and the animals, and the crystals, not so much, you see, but the crystals can help in clearing and stabilizing and bringing forward and through an immediate response to a new thought intention. We can, the human can receive programming in the mind and in the emotion from the crystals very immediately, where water will be a slower process, a more ongoing and stable process, in that if you are drinking this beautiful water for 3 months, then you will start to feel better, you see. But if you have a crystal clearing, you may feel better within 5 moments. So does this make a sense?
Yes. And I guess, so my last question, because we're somewhat on the topic of physical health for humans, is controversial, but I would love your perspective on it. And it's regarding the 5G frequencies that are being spread everywhere. And so I was wondering if you can give everyone your perspective on what's happening and how to protect ourselves and whatnot.
Yes, those who know. Those who should know are aware, and that is a part of their mission, is to spread the information. So all of technology, especially technology that is new for the human body, will not be in resonating frequency. If you were to sit in front of the Wi-Fi, the Bluetooth, even the electromagnetics from a television, it would do damage to the auric field, it would do damage to the mind, the consciousness, the thoughts. So this is another, we're calling it a weapon because it harms. And there would be ways in which it could be made null and void, the harming. There are ways, there is technology to block the signal that would be harmful to the human. But for now, it is something that is being made aware of. And we are observing that there will be a solution prior to a mass health situation. We are not saying that there will not be those whom are affected. But on a mass level, the information will come out, the solution will come as you are working through this new technology. And In the future, this will become obsolete because this is still, from our experience, somewhat antiquated technology, but it is new. And there is a part of the development and part of the growth to get where you are going in the sciences. This is an aspect that will be implemented. So we are saying that if you are sensitive, then you need to separate yourself physically from the spaces and the areas of the 5G networks to the best of your capacity and capabilities, and search for remedies to block the frequencies, and not only to block the frequencies, but to nourish the physical body, increase with more nourishment and get more rest, you see. And you may put up energetic shields of your own intentions, but we will stress that those are not the most appropriate action. So it can help somewhat, but it will not be the end-all be-all. So as the energies press upon the auric field, the system weakens. But this is for more than just the 5G. This is the other frequencies. So this is an opportunity for mankind to see and reevaluate their energetic health, you see, as it comes into relation with their electronic devices. And so they're saying there will be a big marketplace for the technology to refute and to buffer away the harmful effects of that which is coming around to the earth. But there are many communities and countries who are already aware, who will be demanding adjustments be made with this technology. So you are going through a weaving and up and down, and this will be a bumpy ride. But the awareness, the understanding will be made public and will be made known and will be rectified or addressed. Does this make sense?
Yes, wonderful. Well, not wonderful, but it's good to know.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, and we will definitely get to the further dimensions in the next episodes. And I have more questions separately regarding some other things, so I'm very excited to speak with you, and thank you so much for coming on again.
You are welcome. It has been a great opportunity. We are delighted to share from our experience so much of this longingness and this inter-knowing of our aspects of reality. And we are very happy to share with mankind tips and tricks and avenues in which they may assist and remember their light and whom they are. So thank you for this beautiful gift of this moment in time. We are going to prepare to release from the physical body. We will see you all again very, very soon. My eyelashes are stuck together from crying.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh, that was so lovely. Thank you. Wow. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't know the questions ahead of time.
Well, there was a lot of topics I did not expect to speak on, nor did I expect to speak with Metatron or the Earth, inner Earth beings. But it was, I think everything that came out had to come out. And yeah, for about half of the interview too, I was trying to hold down my emotions regarding that stuff. But that was really beautiful.
Yeah, it was good. My body's still humming. I'm kind of coming back in. I was like feeling my cheeks humming. So they're releasing. Yeah, I don't vocally channel Metatron that often. And so it's not as fluid, but that's how I'm like, oh, and I can feel the energy shift. So I'm assuming everybody will sense the frequency shift. Yeah, the earth, the inner earth, when they come through, it's a bit smoother for me than Metatron. So all the frequencies are just different, you know. But I'm really happy. I wasn't anticipating that either, but I could hear them thinking, like, as a collective, as you asked that question, they were like, this would be better answered from him. And then he always stands right here, so he just moved on in. I'm like, okay. So it's really fun for me also just to have the experience to, like strengthen my channeling abilities, because if you want to call it that, I just have to regulate my field a little bit different, and they work with me, and it's just really fun to have questions that I had no idea you were going to ask. I don't even know the answers on, so it's fun for me to listen to the conversation also. So I hope the audience enjoys as well. You had some great questions.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, when Metatron came in, for me as, the interviewer, I felt, and as a clairsentient, person, I was like, whoa. Like, as I work with him every day, but it was different. I could feel also clearing happening as he was coming in, probably for you too. Like, I was feeling a lot of that, and I was like, oh, okay. Did not expect this, but I will take the opportunity and ask the questions.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was all really fluid, but there's always a tiny bit of like, if you were to ask me ahead of time, myself, hey, do you want to channel Metatron? I'd be like, okay. But there'd be a little resistance, like, self-doubt or whatever. So that wasn't there because of the space I was in and how they brought him in. But subconsciously, there might have been, this is what I'm getting now, just a little bit of mental resistance that was released. They helped clear that so he could come in more. I'm interested for the audience, so let us know for sure, you guys, if you feel the difference and what your experience was with the different beings that came through today.
Yeah, that was beautiful and very unexpected. And I was really happy to speak with all of them because, as you know, I've I've seen and heard some of their channeling, and in person in Texas, we've spoken with them, but I didn't expect that. So that was very cool. And I think it's cool for the audience to experience that as well. Um, so yeah, thank you. This was incredible. And I think the topics were there's a huge wide range of topics, and some of them were very, very current and relevant to what's going on like right now in our reality. So hopefully this is helpful for a lot of people watching.
Yes. So thank you. We'll see you guys on our next episode, and be sure to put on the notifications if you'd like to be notified.
Yes. All right. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and have a great rest of your day or evening. Thank you for tuning in to our interview series, Conversations with the Council of Light. We are very much looking forward to bringing you many more to come. You can find Amy online at amysikarskie.com, spiritschoolmagic.com, and on Instagram at amysikarskie, and you can find the Council of Light on Instagram at starseed_ascensions. You can find me online at catfowler.com and on Instagram at catfowler, as well as check out the Council of Light's original interview on the Soul Awakening podcast, which sparked the idea for this whole series. So we wish you a beautiful day filled with love, light, and peace, and we look forward to seeing you on the next show.